This is the second video for the week one lecture, and so you see we continue to look at just the evolution of social work research. You see how in the early 1900s the idea of theory and research kind of start coming together with actual social issues, and so sociologists have been doing a lot of theoretical work where it's not necessarily being applied to some of the immediate issues like we looked at urban poverty. So now it's starting to get connected. Social work is starting to really connect some of that sociological research. Later, we see them connect more of the psychological research as social work takes on an increasing role in mental health. And now you see people that were previously volunteers, community workers, become social workers. And part of that was because they were actually practicing not just out of the goodness of their hearts, but out of a process that showed what worked and what didn't work, and a process that tried to look at only doing things that were effective. So there's a reason why social workers, for example, don't just stand on a corner and give out clothes and money to people in need. That may definitely be something that charity volunteers do, and it may be something people do out of the goodness of their hearts, but when we look at it as a profession, that's really not effective at addressing poverty. It's not effective at addressing homelessness. So social workers are social workers rather than volunteers because we use research. So that's a really important connection to make when you're thinking about why research. We have a process, and so we as social workers, we see an issue. Are we looking at poverty? What's the problem? Is it due to unemployment? Is it due to a lack of motivation? How do we study that? Do we do surveys to ask people? Do we sit down and do one-on-one interviews? Has there already been information collected? What does social work values say about that? Are we looking to try to help people? Then does that mean we collect it in a way that's confidential, that connects their privacy? Or do we ask anybody, anywhere, anytime, and do whatever we want with that information? And then, of course, most importantly, what do we do with it? How do we share that information? Does it go into a journal and never to be seen again? Does it get communicated to other social workers that can do something about it? Does something get done with it? And then what do we learn from it next? What's the next thing we need to learn? How do we use that? So it's the process where you see the social justice, the research, the practice all coming together in this constant fashion. So then social work research, then I just wanted to give you a definition here. So you see this idea where we're collecting information to answer important questions that can inform practice and policy. We can inform not just what we do as individuals, but what programs are available to people, what government is doing, what institutions are doing to help. Good research is honest. So at every step of the way, it's important to understand that it's firmly based on an honest and ethical approach to everything we do. So, what is that ethical approach then? Why is it an ethical obligation that you should remain current in research? This is something that some people may say, I don't need to keep up with research. I know what I'm doing. I need to keep up with my job. Ask yourself, why is that an ethical obligation? Is it possible that something could come up that shows that something you've been doing for 20 years is suddenly found to really not be the best way to help people? Ethically, social workers must remain current, because simply having a lot of experience doesn't mean that you may not accidentally harm your client in the process. Of course, there's a lot of different ways in which people get information. A lot of it is just from your peers. Maybe you just kind of have common sense. A lot of social workers are just basing it on their professional experience, or they're just doing what their supervisor tells them. Increasingly, you see such a huge role of popular media. And so in this course, what you see is trying to connect the research element and trying to kind of inject it into some of the popular media, which so that we can start communicating research in a way that people can actually reach, and in a way that's actually helpful to them.